Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am the two-time, no, Boxing Award-winning The Boxer. And I'm here at the BC Sports Hall of Fame at BC Place Stadium, Part 2 of Vancouver, and I got my questions here. So, let's see what I can find out here at the BC Sports Hall of Fame. So, just like last year, you get like different questions. So, like, I guess it's a little bit harder for me to spoil, but I'm gonna try not to. One of the questions I got is, what I will tell you is that one of them is about Don Taylor, who was actually inducted last year in 2024. But for what? You'll have to come find out. So, I actually did find the first answer, again, for Don Taylor. And next up, I'm going to go look for a football guy. Some of you might remember the name Louis Pasaglia. He was a kicker. I remember him when he retired in 2001, 2000. I was in grade 12. I think he actually won the Grey Cup that year. He was 46 when they won the Grey Cup. But, yeah, I think he played for like 20-something years, and he would have started before I was even born. So, yeah, go figure. So anyway, off to continue. Okay, so I do have to correct myself. It was 25 years, not 22. But it still stands that Louis Pasaglia was playing before I was born. And he actually kicked 1,045 converts during his career. Now the question has to do with how many he missed, so yeah, I feel like I can say how many he kicked, but yeah, you have to figure out how many he missed. And of course, Vancouver, BC, got the Canucks. And the Whitecaps. So also, if you remember last year, one of the questions was about Gino Ojek, who has Indigenous heritage, I seem to remember. So, and that was his number 29, but that's something you could have Googled, so I think I shared that one, but again, that had more to do with the fact you could probably Google it than anything else. Because, like, now pretty much anything you can Google, I almost feel like is fair game. Because that's the world we live in. We have, like, all this, but we have data on our phones. And the thing I wanted to show off was, actually around here, we have a couple of particular guys who have their own area here at the BC Sports Hall of Fame. The one right here that I'm standing in is Rick Hansen, Canada's Man in Motion. He was in a wheelchair, for those who may not know. Let's see. There were some medals that Rick won, which include 19 international wheelchair marathons, 4 world titles, 9 gold medals at the 1982 Pan Am Games, Canada's Disabled Athlete of the Year in 1979, 1980, and 1982. So, wanted to just show off that general, like this general area. And the other one, literally right beside Rick Hansen, we have, let's see, what else? He's over here. Is Terry Fox and his Marathon of Hope. Every year, I remember in school we had the Terry Fox Run, which was done to raise raise money for cancer research. So, in March 1977, Terry Fox, a first-year kinesiology student at SFU, Simon Fraser University, learned that he had bone cancer in his right knee. Before the amputation of his right leg, he resolved not to let cancer beat him. Terry conceived the idea of running across Canada to prove that cancer can be beaten, to increase awareness of the disease, and to raise money to find a cure. So, I seem to remember that he got somewhere in Ontario before he stopped. Wait, no. Scratch that. I see a bit here about how he had started in Nova Scotia section of his run, so obviously he got further than Ontario. So I either have a really bad memory or I'm thinking of something else. So yeah, I got my 2 answers for the BC Sports Hall of Fame, and I guess I'll see you at the next attraction. And we're back at the Museum of Vancouver. Now, there are 2 questions and everyone gets the same questions. So, the first one has to do with the Indigenous and the names of the cities. So, again, I don't want to spoil anything, but it is important that we do remember the Indigenous who were here before, like my grandparents and great-grandparents and so forth settled here. So do make sure to remember them when you do come here. And now that I got the answer for that, my apologies, I'm not going to try to pronounce it just because of how it's one of those ones where I'll butcher it, and we don't want that. So anyway, there is a photographer who I have to look for. If you remember a few weeks ago, I was at the New West Museum. There was a photography gallery there. They were doing it was a photography exhibit, excuse me. So anyway, over here, we have a camera. So yeah, you can imagine that's a pretty old school camera we got here at the Museum of Vancouver. So I did shoot a little bit of the earlier period up until the cameras, so I hope you enjoyed that little montage. I've been here a couple times before, so I don't really see anything new that's worth pointing out to you guys. Like I'm seeing like the 60s area, they still have like the the beads and like all the 60s stuff here. So I believe I have both my answers, so I'm going to move on to the McMillan Space Center. See you over there. Okay, my apologies on the lighting. I'm not sure how good this will be in post-production. Okay, we are over here at the McMillan Space Center. So it's a scavenger hunt. I find clues on the different spots, and then it takes you to the next one. So I am looking for an astronaut, and oh look, that was way too easy. You'll see him pretty much right when you enter, so like you can't miss it. So there's like literally no spoilers. So the next clue has to do with the ground station. So I have to go find the ground station. So I found the space station here, as you can see behind me. And there is a QR code that I have to click on. Show options, open link, and of course there would be no internet. So open up my Wi-Fi. So
is this actually true? Because it feels like one of those things where like, oh, back in like during the space race, NASA spent like $10 million.
okay, so they do have a thing here for people in my situation. So I guess I'm off to the final spot, but I'm not going to say where because, well, yeah, you have to come and get the QR. I would like to introduce you guys to my better looking twin. So is that Jabba the Me or is it Me the Hutt? Go ahead.
Thank you.
And as you can see, I found it. So that wraps up the McMillan portion of the lake for me. I will be stamping it myself. So there we go. And I've arrived at the Maritime Museum, which is actually walking distance from Museum of Vancouver and the McMillan Space Center. So I really feel like I missed the boat last year. Nevertheless, there are 8 questions here. You find 2 out of the 8. You answer 2 out of the 8, and bada bing, bada boom, you get your stamp. So let's see. There is a dugout skull canoe here, in which you can get one of your answers. Touch me gently. Oh. So I'll let you make your own jokes on that one, folks. So I got the question to the canoe. So I have to find one more here. Okay, I actually really dig the painting here. So for those of you who watched the False Creek video, the False Creek Ferries, and there's actually another part of the Maritime Museum that I am at, and that's because that's one of the parts, that's where it starts. It goes between the Maritime Museum and the Olympic Village. So I am going to take for me the fastest way is to actually take the False Creek Ferry from the Maritime Museum to Olympic Village, because that's where you get, because that's actually pretty close to Main Street SkyTrain station. So I'm going to do that, but I can actually think I can get a couple neighborhood stamps at Granville Island along the way, so I might stop there.
But we should have, for the record. We should have. You can't win.
Yeah.
That's
They're hot, yeah.
Do you guys want to go home?
Okay, so there is a neighborhood, we can get neighborhood stamps here. So the deal is that number 3 requires a camera. If you don't have like a camera or like on your phone or whatever, then you can skip 3, but you have to do 4 and 5. So you're either doing 3 or 4 questions depending on whether or not you have a camera. And I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that I have a camera. I might have 2, I might have 3 with me right now, if we're including the phone. So anyway, I'm looking for an animal that's gonna give me a pretty concrete answer. One answer down at Granville Island, 2 more to go. Okay, so I think I found the photo part, like what I'm supposed to take a photo of, and if I'm right, I will include it right here, and you will know that I got my Granville Island stamp, or stamps. Now to go back and make sure I'm right, because I did a lot of walking for this one. Mystery box! Few balls, saw a duck in there I think. 3 balls in total. yeah. Okay, I actually run into that guy like that on the SkyTrain, like in full gold. So I did ask, and he is okay with me putting it in the video. So come check him out. He does this like sort of like a statue performance where like he'll stand there and like by donation that's when he starts going. So yeah, it's like one of those what the hell sort of things, and it's actually one of those, it can be pretty entertaining. So yeah, I just wanted to throw that extra little bit for the video. Okay folks, I had to go back and retry because I was outside of a completely different shop. So I did go back, did find it, and now I have my stamps. So it's almost 4 o'clock now. I may have time to get one more stamp, but it's at Science World, and I think they're kind of like, I remember checking about a year or two ago, and they're kind of not friendly about like filming because of all the kids there, which I get, I understand. So this is probably going to be it for me either way, whether I get there in time or not. So thank you for watching, and I guess I'll see you next time. Bye everyone.